If you want to make money selling things that you've made with your Cricut machine, especially if you're going to use images and fonts available within Cricut Access, you need to understand the Cricut Angel policy. And that is what we are discussing in today's video. Hi, I'm Rabia, I'm the London Craft Girl, and on this channel I share tips and tutorials for making beautiful and elegant craft projects, because the world is just a better place when you made something that wasn't there before. In this video, I'm going to cover the 10 things you have got to know about the Cricut Angel policy if you are considering selling your creations. Now, I have to say, some of what I discovered when I was researching for this video, honestly, it did surprise me, especially point number 10. So let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Point number 1. It is your responsibility to make sure you understand the policy. So, being here is a fantastic start. I'm going to cover everything that is in the policy, but I must say that, of course, I'm not a qualified lawyer. This is not legal advice, so I definitely recommend that you read the policy for yourself. And you can always reach out to the Cricut legal team if you have questions. And if you really need to, then get some legal advice from a qualified lawyer for yourself. I will link the policy and the contact information of the legal team for you in the description below. Point number 2, the Cricut Angel policy covers anything that you see within Cricut Design Space that has that A symbol representing Cricut Access. That also includes the stuff that you can get for free, even if you don't pay a monthly membership. If you notice, it does have a little A next to it, so it's included. If you are ever uncertain whether a particular image or font that you're using is captured within the policy, then there is a full list of all the images that are included available on the Cricut Angel policy website, and I will put a link to that for you in the description below as well. Leading on from that, then, you are perfectly at liberty to make your own designs in a different program, let's say like Inkscape, and then upload those into Design Space and then sell those to your heart content. You are not breaching any kind of angel policy when you do that. One thing to point out is that if you do purchase SVGs or PNGs from Etsy sellers, I would definitely check with the specific seller, because not everyone will provide a commercial license with what they sell you. So you may only have the ability to use those particular images for your own personal use and not to create projects with them and then sell them for profit. Point number 4, there are 2 main conditions that apply to anything that you might sell. The first is that you cannot sell an individual layer or an individual cut. And the second is that what you sell must be part of a finished project. So let me explain what this means. Let's say, for example, I decide that I really love a particular heart image that I found in Cricut Access, put it on my canvas and I cut it out. Now, what I would not be allowed to do is to then take that one individual heart and sell that to somebody, because that is just one image, one layer. That is not permitted in the policy. If, however, I took that heart and I glued it onto a card blank, for example, or an envelope, then that is part of a finished project. It's no longer just that one layer, and I can now sell that. Also, if I were to cut multiples of those hearts, even if they were not exactly the same heart image, and then package them all together, maybe to sell as like table confetti, I would still not be allowed to do that, because I have not created a finished project. All of those individual cuts are just there by themselves. They've not been permanently attached to something. So that doesn't count as a finished project, and therefore I would be in breach of the policy. However, if I were to take those hearts and string them onto bunting, tie them in place, then that now is a finished project and I would be allowed to sell that. So, key thing is, remember, it cannot be an individual layer sold on its own, and it has to be part of a finished project where different things have been permanently attached together. Point number 5, let's talk about stickers. So this one is a little bit confusing because as far as Cricut is concerned, you cannot sell sticker sheets. So I did clarify this with the team because I thought it was a bit confusing that if you were to do a print then cut project and you have your printable sticker sheets with images that you've taken from Cricut Access, maybe you've put like a star and a moon together and then added a font saying like Eid Mubarak, those are 3 different images that you have combined to make a sticker, and then maybe you cut a whole sheet out of that sticker. Cricut still views that sticker sheet as one layer, as a 1-layer cut. So unfortunately, you can't sell stickers that you've made using exclusively images and fonts that are available in Cricut Access. course, as we mentioned earlier, you could design your stickers outside of Cricut Design Space in like Inkscape, you know, the same star and moon and Eid Mubarak idea, and then upload that into Design Space and then sell that as a sticker sheet. That would be perfectly fine because you're not using the Cricut Access images. You would be permitted to sell a sticker if you created it with your Cricut machine and then you attached it to a finished project, because you've now put it into a finished project. And remember, we talked about that as well. Point number 6, you can in fact sell gift boxes and tags. So although we might understand that as a single cut, because you know the gift box might just require one mat with one piece of cardstock that has one cut that you then assemble, Cricut does allow you to sell that as a finished project. So that's great. Point number 7, you cannot sell more than 10,000 projects a year. If you do, you fall into mass production territory and you just would no longer be allowed to sell things that you're making using Cricut Access images and fonts. I've done the maths, and 10,000 a year means 192 finished projects a week. So, you know, that's a very high number. And remember, this applies to, you know, projects you've created using Cricut Access images and fonts. So yes, if you have a very popular Etsy shop, you may want to check this, that you're not breaching that number, but it is quite a stretch to get to that amount a week. Point number 8. Now this one, it does sting a little bit because you are not permitted to have anybody help you in creating the projects that you sell. It has to be a one-woman show. I'm sorry guys, that's the policy. So this also includes, you know, like family members. You couldn't get your partner or your kids or, you know, parents to be mucking in with you. It has to all be created by yourself. Point number 9, and hopefully this one is fairly obvious, you cannot sell anything using licensed images. So, you know, sometimes we see that Cricut has a special image set where they've done a collaboration with like Disney or Marvel. The agreement between Cricut and that third-party company is that us as Cricut users can use those images, but only for our personal use. We wouldn't be able to, let's say, like take the Star Wars logo, put it on a t-shirt and sell that as a Star Wars shirt, because we don't have like the license or the franchise agreement to do that. I'm sure you can imagine for these corporations, all of that kind of merchandise, franchising, that's kind of where they make a lot of their money, and so all of that stuff is very tied up. So it's quite strict that you cannot sell anything that is using a licensed image. And this is not strictly about the Cricut Angel policy, but I do want you guys to be aware that you might see people selling, you know, SVGs, PNGs of these sorts of like characters from films and logos and things on Etsy, etc. The truth is that probably that seller does not have the right to be selling that, and they are in fact breaching like intellectual property law by selling that PNG because they don't own the rights to it. So if you were to then go and purchase that and then create something and then sell something, you know, it's all kind of murky waters. You are probably going to be breaching copyright law in some way, and I would just stay clear of that completely. Point number 10, and now this is the one that I really feel like needs to be much more widely publicized. I think people are just not aware of it and are not doing this. When you do sell a finished project in which you have used Cricut Access images and fonts, you have to state somewhere on the project in a reasonable size and a reasonable location, includes copyright material of Cricut. So yeah, I don't know if people are aware that they have to be doing this, but it is stated right there in the policy. So it's important that, you know, if you are a seller, that you have that somewhere in your packaging or, you know, in an inconspicuous place on the finished project, because you don't want to be breaching the policy by not doing this. Okay, so I know that this video was full of lots of you can't do this and you cannot do that, and it might seem a bit disheartening, but let's just, you know, take a step back and have a think. This is actually a very generous policy. First of all, Cricut Access, if you are a subscriber, you'll know already that it's got, like, at last count, it had like 200,000 different images and endless numbers of fonts that you can use, and it's always being added to. So if you're a subscriber, you've got access to lots of options of different projects you can make. And being able to sell 10,000 a year, 192 a week, is a very large number. So, you know, if you are someone who is thinking about buying the machine or thinking about starting a business and a little bit hesitant, then please do not let the angel policy be a reason to hold you back, because it's meant to be there to facilitate small business. Cricut loves that. If you follow Ashish Arora, who is the CEO, you'll see that he is constantly sharing and excited by the success that Cricut owners are having with selling their things that they're making. So I would say, you know, if you're at all tempted to start up your crafting side business, then yeah, just do it, guys. So that is it for the video. That's everything you need to know about the angel policy. I hope it was valuable for you, and please do share it with anyone you know who might benefit from hearing this information. I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, happy crafting!